Welcome to today's deep dive into one of the most controversial technologies shaping our world, live facial recognition, or LFR. From the bustling streets of London to the tightly controlled environments of China, LFR is redefining how governments, businesses, and law enforcement operate. But as this technology expands, so do the concerns about privacy, civil liberties, and the potential for abuse. Today, we're going to explore how LFR is used in two very different countries, the UK and China, and ask the critical question: are we sacrificing too much in the name of security? 1. What is live facial recognition? Let's start with the basics. Live facial recognition technology uses artificial intelligence to identify or verify a person by comparing a live capture with stored facial images in a database. It's fast, efficient, and incredibly powerful, but like all powerful tools, it comes with risks. In theory, LFR offers a range of benefits. It can help law enforcement quickly identify criminals, prevent acts of terrorism, and streamline security in high-risk areas like airports and large public events. In the UK, LFR has been introduced in several public spaces, from city centers to transportation hubs. Authorities argue that it's a crucial tool for maintaining public safety. But there's another side to this story. 2. The trade-off: privacy and civil liberties. As LFR technology becomes more widespread, so do the concerns about its impact on privacy and civil liberties. In the UK, the introduction of LFR has sparked significant public debate. On one hand, it promises enhanced security. On the other, it raises the specter of mass surveillance, a world where every move is tracked, analyzed, and recorded by the state. One of the biggest concerns is the potential for wrongful identification. Studies have shown that LFR systems can be biased, with higher error rates for ethnic minorities, women, and younger people. Imagine being wrongly flagged as a criminal simply because the technology made a mistake. It's a frightening prospect, and it's one that critics argue could lead to a chilling effect on public life, where people are afraid to express themselves or even gather in public spaces. 3. Case study: China's use of LFR. While the UK grapples with these issues, we see a very different picture in China. Here, LFR is not just a tool for security. It's a key component of the government's broader strategy for social control. In China, LFR is everywhere. It's used in streets, schools, workplaces, and even in places of worship, and it's integrated into the country's social credit system, where citizens are constantly monitored and scored based on their behavior. Let's take a closer look at how LFR operates in China. One of the most concerning aspects is its use in regions like Xinjiang, where the government has been accused of human rights abuses against the Uyghur Muslim population. Here, LFR is used to track and control every aspect of life, from identifying individuals at checkpoints to monitoring who attends religious services. The technology is a tool of oppression, designed to suppress dissent and enforce conformity. This level of control extends far beyond what we see in the UK. In China, LFR is used to target not just criminals, but anyone deemed a threat to the state. Activists, journalists, and ordinary citizens can find themselves under constant surveillance with little recourse. The consequences of being flagged by these systems can be severe, from losing access to services to being detained without trial. 4. Psychological impact and social compliance. The psychological impact of this kind of surveillance cannot be overstated. When people know they are being watched, their behavior changes. In the UK, where LFR is still relatively new, we're already seeing signs of this. People become more cautious, less willing to participate in protests, and more likely to self-censor. Over time, this could erode the very freedoms that define democratic societies. In China, this effect is even more pronounced. The pervasive surveillance has created a culture of fear and compliance. People are less likely to challenge authority, less likely to speak out, and more likely to conform to the state's expectations. It's a subtle but powerful form of control, one that's incredibly difficult to resist. 5. Ethical concerns and alternatives. Given these risks, it's essential to ask, are there alternatives to LFR that can provide security without compromising our freedoms? The answer is yes, but it requires a different approach. Instead of relying on intrusive surveillance, we could invest in community policing, where officers work closely with the communities they serve. Behavioral analysis can be used to detect unusual activities without identifying individuals, and we can strengthen physical security measures, like better lighting, secure infrastructure, and increased patrols that don't involve spying on the public. Another crucial step is to ensure that any use of LFR is subject to strict oversight and clear regulations. In the UK, this means implementing robust legal frameworks that protect civil liberties, ensuring that the technology is used transparently, and only when absolutely necessary. Public debate and engagement are also vital. People must have a say in how these technologies are deployed, and they must have the power to hold authorities accountable. 6. The broader ethical debate. At the heart of this issue is a broader ethical debate. How do we balance security with freedom? This is a question that every society must answer as technology advances. In the UK, we have the opportunity to set a standard for how LFR can be used responsibly, ensuring that it serves the public good without infringing on individual rights. But if we're not careful, we could find ourselves on a slippery slope toward a surveillance state, one where privacy is a luxury and freedom is a thing of the past. China's example serves as a stark warning of what happens when surveillance goes unchecked. The level of control that LFR allows is unprecedented, and once it's in place, it's incredibly difficult to roll back. The decisions we make now will shape the future of our societies for generations to come. 7. Conclusion and call to action. As we wrap up, I want to leave you with this thought. Are we willing to sacrifice our privacy for the promise of security? And if so, at what cost? Live facial recognition technology offers real benefits, but it also poses significant risks. It's up to us to decide how it's used and whether the trade-offs are worth it. I encourage you to stay informed, engage in the debate, and think critically about the technologies that are shaping our world. Together, we can ensure that progress doesn't come at the expense of our most fundamental rights.